Welcome to the RPG Live Random Party Generator uh, podcast, cast, live stream, whatever the hell we are.
Whatever. Yeah.
I'm a little punch crazy on live streams. Third one in 3 days, folks. We are light tonight, partially because Joe is emptying out his bowels at the moment, probably. Um, But with me tonight, uh, to my direct stage right is Rob Conley, Bat the Attic. Below us is Tim Short, Gothridge Manor. In the wings, waiting to come on as soon as his pants are back up, is going to be Joe the lawyer. And we may have one or two other randos drop in at some point. We don't know. We shall see. Again, Joe says he's almost there. I'm sure Joe has heard that in the past. I know I've heard that in the past, and we weren't going to wait. So in any case, now we are the random party. So we're going to toss this ball initially to Rob, since Rob does have a show and tell to
Yes,
start.
I do, folks. So
I'm going to give Rob the focus. The focus.
All right.
okay, the focus. Hi. So so everybody knows I'm a big fan of Harm, but second behind, well, third behind, because my favorite is my Majestic Waterland stuff, but is the Adventures in Middle Earth, and the license got away from Cubicle 7, so Free League got a hold of it, and they came out with the One Ring second edition, but then they came out with the 5e, their take on the 5e version, Adventures in Middle Earth, and Lord of the Rings role-playing, and I got the book today. It is a gorgeous book, thick one too. And some of the major difference between Lord of the Rings, I'm not going to go blow by blow, but some of the major difference here is that they only have 10 levels. They cap it at 10 levels. But the major subsystems are pretty much there.
Is that the one you ran us through before, Rob? Is that the same system, or is this different?
It's a second. It will be a second version. So if we ran it, there'll be differences.
Sure.
It's basically the same system. But just looking over the table contents, they have the fellowship phase still and the downtime, as you remember, Tim.
Right.
They still have the shadow that what they did with both the One Ring and Lord of the Rings role playing is that it's a little bit like Call of Cthulhu in that there is a force within the setting as you deal with adventuring, that wears away at your character's soul and could turn them to be pop reference to the dark side of Sauron. And it's called the Shadow. And if you could be doing good things, but because you're experiencing combat and horrific condition, if you're going through bad terrain and all that, it just you become more susceptible to Sauron's influence. Now you can get rid of it by making sure that periodically you take a break, go back home, and that's what the fellowship phase. One of the choices of the fellowship phase is to go and handle that. I believe, Tim, one fellowship phase you spent a season blacksmithing for some people by a ford, and that got
something like that. Yeah, because it's an interesting system. The system itself really does make it feel like you're traveling through Middle Earth. And I'm not a Middle Earth connoisseur whatsoever. I mean, I like the movies and read the books and all, but this one actually felt the way the system was built around the setting almost, or whatever, but it really made me feel like I was actually traveling through it. And then the cool thing about the shadow aspect of it, it's an interesting way to almost add alignment into your game without adding alignment into your game, because you really had to consider your actions lest there be consequences like my guy was like a high charisma guy that had like, incredible pluses on manipulating people, but I had to be very careful how I did that because then I'd start gathering shadow points or whatever, and that kind of went bad real quick. So yeah, I think it's an interesting system. Yeah, it's really fun.
Now they did change my beloved journey system a lot.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, but I found out later, and I kind of bummed that I missed the Kickstarter. And it turned out when they lost the license and whatever IP rights that they had to transfer, they didn't transfer the journey system, and now they have a full 5e supplement that's not Middle Earth specific.
Oh no! Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, but I got it. It's good. So if you have a regular
good.
5e campaign, I highly recommend that journey supplement. And the replacement they got it's okay. It's more like the One Ring, how the One Ring handle it. But there's two more items with this. First of all, it comes with a kick butt map, beautiful map of the Shire. And my green, and it thinks it's the green screen.
Green screen's fighting with it.
I know. Let's see if this does better. It's a little bit of green screen.
Not too bad.
But they're beautiful maps. One caution though, when you get the book, try this out very carefully. Otherwise, you'll tear the end flypaper, which happened to me. Luckily, I was kind of able to glue it back together. Also, the base package. Wow, that is some hellacious green screen.
Say hellacious? Is that the word you used?
Hellacious.
That's impressive.
Yes.
That's from Asmodeus saying that's hellacious.
I was going to say Asmodeus speaks, and he would know. He's the expert on this. Yeah.
So their focus, their first set of adventures is the Shire adventures, and then they're not focusing around Mirkwood and Dale and the Long Lake. They're focusing further west in Eridor and the Dunedain Ranger. And also, if you have kids and you want to give them into 5e role playing, but maybe they're younger and they're lighter, this would be a good for them. The adventure in there, I forgot what it was called. Conspiracy of the Red Book. So it's mostly role playing, problem solving. So that's actually a good adventure for the younger crowd. And then of course they give you a referee screen with some.
Oh, I love those low referee screens. Those are.
Yeah. Those are nice.
Yeah, in fact, I bought. I'm not going to pull it out, but I bought.
Don't pull it out, Rob.
Yeah.
But I bought some where you can put your own inserts in, and I made sure I got the ones that are landscape rather than portrait.
You actually gave me one of those, Rob, the landscape ones where you can insert your own.
Oh, I did?
Screen. Long time ago, yeah. Long time ago,
yeah. It's still holding up. Not sure when I DM face to face again, but
John asked a question to you, Rob.
Okay.
About how does the new Free League version of Lord of the Rings 5e compare to the Cubicle 7 version?
John, I'm to be honest, I'm gonna have to play it. I mean, the Free League, the Cubicle 7 went up to 20 levels, and we didn't get the 20 levels. We got up into almost the 10th level, right, Tim?
Yeah, I don't think we reached 10th level. I know we got about above 7th, but I don't. So it was between 7th and 10th. It was
and it felt like a full campaign.
It was.
So
we did a lot in that time. Yeah, we did a lot in that range. And
so, they definitely changed some of the monster scaling around a bit to the fit that now they only have 10 levels. So, it's probably the Free League version will be a better one, better take than the Cubicle 7. The only ding I would give it to is the fact they didn't keep the old journey system, which I thought was great. But
yeah, I thought it worked well too. Yeah,
but everything else seems to make sense.
Very interesting. So, by the way, welcome to Joe the Lawyer.
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I was at the gym. Never thought I'd hold off on a D&D thing because of the gym. In all my years, if I ever thought that would come out of my mouth.
Right.
Joe, we know that's the excuse. You were on the can.
Oh, well, no, I was.
Well,
You broadcasted us in the text chat, so.
Well, yeah.
Don't try to hide
it. I should have sent you a picture. I did send you a picture.
You don't want
evil machine.
Pictures from the can is not what we really are looking at. The random party.
So climbing the mountain.
Yeah.
Which ROTC situation? There are so many these days.
He's talking about the when Wizards of the Coast said, listen, Bud Light, hold my beer. I'd like to go to the next level of stupidity, and if I was going to alienate myself amongst gamers, and by the way, people who aren't gamers or aren't historians might not know who the Pinkertons are. But when you are a gamer, you tend to be very involved in things like history. And the Pinkertons stand out in history because they are there for so many shitty events. And
they're assholes. Let's say how it is. They're assholes working for assholes throughout history.
They're hired thugs.
Maybe at the very beginning, but after the Civil War, they quickly ditched that.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a union that was a problem, and you were an owner and you want your union employees back to work or dead, because sometimes what's the difference, right?
Oh, they were the wet works guys.
Yeah, so I mean, there are wars within the boundary of the United States that only weren't considered a war because it was private entities fighting. Yeah. The Pinkertons were one of the private entities that were fighting in those wars. So if you have, and Rob and I were discussing this a bit before the show, I didn't know this was going to come up, because it has to. There's a few things that to me stand out. Like, if somebody comes knocking on your door, all right, on a Sunday morning, but first off, unless there's exigent circumstances, it's not even going to be the cops. Not even
witnesses, I would figure.
Because search warrants, general warrants, or arrest warrants are served Monday through Friday, generally between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 or 10 p.m.
When the judges work.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not just when the judges work. There is an expectation with an arrest warrant that you are, again, unless it's exigent circumstances, it's like, somebody who's wanted for like homicide and is bail and all that other shit, that you have certain rights. One of those rights is those holy hours of like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. where they figure the average person will probably be sleeping. All right, which is why a lot of warrants are served at like 6:05. To be honest, been there, done that. But to have somebody knocking on your door on a Sunday morning, and I don't know what time it was, but it can't be a great time. And it was Sunday in any case, and telling you, "Hey, guess what? We're here on behalf of Wizards of the Coast. We're the Pinkertons, and you might get arrested. You might be looking at jail time for your videos." Exactly what fucking world do we live in? And for Wizards of the Coast to get away with this shit, where Kyle right now is probably going, "Oh, thank God it was over at the Magic the Gathering side of the company." Oh, fuck me. Well, thank God it wasn't me.
Well, Kyle just woke up this morning and say, "You know what? I am not going to talk about WotC product on this channel. I'm not going to talk about WotC products on this channel. The only D&D 5e I'm going to talk about is my homebrew." I mean, for the last 2 days, my feed was littered with videos like that.
Well, he's. I mean, again, but you broke the law. This guy did not break the law. He didn't have stolen property. He didn't. None of this stuff. He broke. What was it? An embargo, which is that's even a stupid term for it. But yes, he released a product early that he bought from someone else with a
Yeah,
distributor.
it wasn't his fault. The other guy sold it to him. He bought it. No malintent. Nothing. There was nothing wrong with what he did. He just
No.
bought the damn thing.
No, and the thing is he was excited about getting it. So I would
Yeah.
think like his excitement would have actually maybe encouraged more people to go purchase it possibly too.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know, but I mean, this is coming from.
I don't know if his video was critical or not. That
His channel has roughly twice the subscribers of my channel. It's not a big channel. It's not in the world of Magic the Gathering, but
Right.
I'm sure he was hoping it was going to be. God bless him. But there's some general lessons coming from your random party here. If somebody's knocking on your door and they are not the police, you do not have to let them in. Heck, if they are the police, there are circumstances you don't have to let them in. But I can guarantee you, if they are not the police, like when I was like, I don't know, 20 in HBO security with that home. You remember when you can make your own like pins or badges that like stamping machine kind of
No.
HBO
You impersonate
security.
a cop, Eric? Is that what you're admitting to right now?
No, HBO security came. I'm out buying bagels for my family, my parents. I come back with bagels, and there's a gentleman on my porch with this HBO security button. And I'm like, can I help you? Do you live here? I go, yes. Are you the owner? I was like 20. He went, no. He hands me paperwork. Give this to the owner. Why? Because my father had a microwave antenna up on the roof, and they found it by helicopter. Microwave antennas are not illegal. They were not illegal. However, it could be used to, at the time, pick up HBO over the air. I'm not saying that's what was happening. I'm just saying it could have happened. All right.
Allegedly.
I think the statute of limitations ran
Yeah.
out on that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I obviously handed my father the thing, and I said, Fraggle Rock and HBO, title fights might be out for a while, and the antenna, you were supposed to remove it and give it to them. It was basically a threat of a lawsuit because it wasn't a criminal act. And then but this is at best this was a threat of what, a civil act. We're going to sue you for releasing our cards early. You couldn't even do that because the guy hadn't signed anything. This was all an intimidation act.
Yeah.
And Wizards of the Coast can't keep themselves out of the news cycle. What the fuck? Honestly.
So stupid. So many easily avoided mistakes, but the lawyers are getting involved, and the PR department's like pulling their hair out. This is what's going on. They're just idiots. They're idiots. I don't know. The business people don't understand the hobby. All they understand is the bottom line money, and as long as the money comes in, fuck the people who buy the shit. That seems to be the attitude they have.
Yeah. Well, here's something that I think it was on the Dungeon Delver YouTube channel. If I got the channel wrong, apologize. He's an old school gamer. I've watched him before, and he's got the grognard beard, but he found the connection to the Pinkertons and why the Pinkertons were the ones that came knocking on the door. Mm-hmm. When you release cards before they're an embargo, the Pinkertons will come a knocking. And there's a reason why they came a knocking. Because head of security at Wizards of the Coast was a Pinkerton.
Say kick back, boys and girls.
So
head of security at Hasbro.
I got some news here. I got some news. So this article said this, Cannon says, was his first interaction with the Pinkerton agent, and this is on Gizmodo, that they told him they tried to confront him at his house on Friday, but nobody was home. Cannon said in a video uploaded April 25th.
Wow. I didn't catch
that the Pinkerton agent, after attempting to go to Cannon's house, began door knocking the homes of his neighbors, asking for information about him, saying that they had an appointment with Cannon.
Wow. What pieces of shit, man. I
Now,
swear to God.
if you're an ex Pinkerton, does that make you a half Pinkerton,
Oh, or
or are you a full blooded Pinkerton?
I don't. Well,
You're just changing
Isn't-
the definition.
isn't that like a heritage now?
Yeah, or a lineage or a background or
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I took that as a feat. My feat is Pinkerton. My advantage is I'm an asshole. It's like, come on.
You get advantage on charisma checks to be a dick.
Hey, I'm a Pinkerton dick because I call myself detective, right? We're investigators for the Pinkertons. The fact that you're knocking on people's houses, how, and by the way, that tells you how important this was for Wizards of the Coast. Dude, do whatever you got to do to find this guy and get those cards, get those videos down. And they couldn't find him on Friday, so they took Saturday off. Obviously, sorry, it was probably the Sabbath. They're probably Jewish. They took off Saturday and came knocking on Sunday.
Okay, and there's more, Eric.
Oh,
This alleged incident, according to Gizmodo, with Cannon, is not the first time the Pinkerton had been dispatched to retrieve Magic the Gathering cards. Forces who were unwilling to share their name for fear of retribution by Wizards of the Coast. Whoever said the Shadowrun reference totally was on
Well,
point.
All right,
John Miller's
calm down.
pointed out it's a class. Maybe one of the class abilities
Prestige
is like a
class, yeah.
favored target Magic the Gathering player.
there
And
you
if
go.
he's hunting a Magic the Gathering player, he gets a bonus.
Special attack against neckbeards. Is that it? +1 to hit neckbeards.
Yeah.
So they were sent out in 2017 to investigate a theft of an uncut sheet of foil cards from the then upcoming major expansion, Exalen. And apparently this had become something a legend in Magic spaces.
But all right,
Okay.
now an uncut sheet is going to likely be stolen property. All right, it's an uncut sheet. It is taken from the facility. It should have been cut. That's all right. That they're investigating a crime. So let's give them rights.
Yeah, but
Go
that's
to your house.
still you wouldn't call the Pinkertons for that.
Well, you went to the coast. You could call the cops. And the cops are gonna go, "What the fuck do you want us to do?"
Well,
We're not
but you
they're
think
not
that's
gonna
stolen
investigate.
property. Yeah.
Well,
So let me see. They stole a piece of paper from you that has a picture on it.
Right.
Okay.
multiple pictures. The cops will take the report. The Pinkertons will probably have to do the investigation, track it down. And when you track it down, you can say, "Hey, Joe Schmo, you understand that you have that uncut sheet? You're going to hand it over, or do we call the cops?" Because there is a crime involved.
Right.
But there's no crime involved in an embargo. And I
No.
saw somebody on Facebook get all like, "Oh, yeah, the Pinkertons they should have been arrested." First off, the Pinkertons aren't fucking cops. They can't arrest shit.
People are so stupid.
Right.
People are so
Alright.
fucking stupid. They don't know their own goddamn rights. If
See,
you don't
this
know
is
your
why you
fucking
watch
rights-
Law and Order, folks.
I
Okay. Now,
mean, Jesus.
Law and
Holy
Order
shit,
should be
in
called
sports-
the
Sorry.
Professional Misconduct Show because there's absolutely no way any of that crap would go down in real life, as Eric knows for sure. They arrest somebody and 3 days later they're prosecuting them.
Yeah,
No.
Please.
Years later.
But you
Yeah,
gotta
three.
learn tactics. Like if you're gonna kill somebody, you need to gather up a bunch of hair from a hair cutting place and then throw it all over the crime scene so they can't figure out what's going on. That's why you watch the Law and Order, folks. So you
Yes,
can defend
actually, yeah.
yourselves.
It made Sports Illustrated.
God.
Wait. The Pinkertons made Sports Illustrated?
Yeah, this story is in Sports Illustrated.
What?
Does that
Well,
mean Magic the Gathering
flipping
is
cards
a
is a
sport?
very
I was going to say, did Magic the Gathering all of a sudden become a sport?
I don't know. It said Sports Illustrated. And the title of the article is Wizards of the Coast sent Pinkerton after YouTuber.
Okay.
It's in there. Apparently, they have a video game section now.
It's
If
an
the card
e-sport.
doesn't fit, you must acquit.
quick. Hold on a second. I gotta tap my mountain. How many repetitions do I gotta do before I can move on to my land?
Oh,
I
God.
don't remember much about Magic the Gathering. I had beta cards. That's how long ago I had my Magic cards.
Tim, you want to tell your most depressing slit your wrist suicide story ever about Magic the Gathering cards?
Oh, how I had like the original deck? Like,
Yeah.
I had the playtest deck for Magic the Gathering. And I remember
Oh,
I didn't even know what, because you got to remember back then, I signed up for the playtest, didn't know anything about it. I just saw Magic. Oh, that sounds interesting. Didn't read what it was about. Didn't read anything about it. And I ended up getting the cards in the mail. And I saw it was a card game, and I'm not big into card games, so I just put it to the side, forgot about it. Then about I don't know, it was like a month later, Rob and some other, we were kind of getting together for a game or something like that. And they started talking about Magic the Gathering, and I wasn't paying any attention. And then he kept talking about it. And I'm just like, oh, wait, I think I have a deck of those. And it was like, they all turned to me like I just grew boobs or something like that. They were just like a whole bunch of gamers just ogling me. And I'm like, what? And they're like, you have a deck of those cards? And I'm like, yeah, that's at home. And I was commanded to leave and go fetch the cards, which I went and did. And then they basically groped my cards to no end, looking at them. And then we were trying to figure out how to play it or whatever. And then it just became,
it took over that entire summer.
Yeah, we didn't role play for that entire summer. We were all in the Magic Gathering, and we had so many beta cards because Rob and Dwayne would make these just massive amounts of 10 and 12-year-olds cry because we would go into a gaming store, and this is back when there wasn't a lot of cards. They had a certain amount. And they would be waiting there. Well, Rob and Dwayne, they came in, they didn't buy packs. They bought boxes of packs and just wiped out the whole supply. And then the kids behind them didn't get anything. And the asshole side of me thought it was very funny. I felt bad for the kids, but I did think it was a little funny because Rob was doing it, and Rob was completely oblivious that he was doing it, which was the beautiful part of it. Dwayne didn't care. He just did it because he wanted to make sure he got the same amount of cards as Rob, because those two were always measuring dicks with this stuff. But it was funny though. I can't, and I had probably, I don't know how many alpha cards, but I know I see some of those things like, what is it? The Black Lotus is going for I don't know, an obscene amount. I had 3 or 4 of those. I had a house. You could buy I could buy a freaking house. I still sold all my stuff for a small profit, not like this astronomical. I don't know if anybody really gets that amount, for them or not. But
you got to be connected, from what I understand.
Yeah, but still, it's just amazing what those things are going for. But because all my cards are really in pretty good condition when I sold them all, because Dwayne actually got stationed in New Orleans, and there was a big market back then for him. And I kind of phased out of it because by the time they started adding those additional packs, I couldn't keep track of what the cards were, and they kept on slapping out new cards, and I spent more time reading the cards than actually playing. So I'm just like, I'm done. They're just going to keep
invalidated. They invalid. They came out with attorney rules, and I built I figured out a way to how to build a deck that could win. It wasn't dominating, but it could win, and it only had one creature in it, and I was very proud of that deck. And then they just kept dicking around, and when my deck, I couldn't build my deck anymore. I was like, oh, screw it. I'm not going to keep up with this.
Well, you did build the most annoying deck of all time.
I know.
I can only imagine.
Rob has that knack. I see it. I can totally see it.
They would oftentimes I would be beaten down to one. Oftentimes I'll be beaten down to 1 health, and then I would do something like Channel Fireball, and they're dead. Now I had a lot of lands out at that point, but it was they were annoyed.
I just remember when Magic came out, it was around the same time that 2E was spiraling in his death spiral.
Yep.
And Magic came out, and everybody was talking about it. Anybody I could have played D&D with was going Magic and Vampire the Masquerade. So the Brainiac nerds were going Magic, right? The computer types, the math guys were going, the real geeks, Rob, were going completely Magic. And then the guys who wanted to get laid we're all going Vampire the Masquerade because, oh my God, chicks in a role playing game. All I got to do is wear some gothy looking shit. I might get maybe a hand job in behind the fucking whatever. You know what I mean? So you had both of those things happening at the same time, and I'm just watching the D&D section of Walden books dwindle down to nothing and never get restocked because everything was just going to shit. I'm like, God damn it, fuck these people, fuck them all. And then it turns out the Magic the Gathering saved D&D. So what are you gonna do? We wouldn't be here without Magic the Gathering, guys. So
Yeah,
can't really
Vampire
bitch
was
about
such
it
a
anymore.
Vampire was such a thing in the '90s. They had vampire clubs.
Yeah, oh yeah. There was
Rob and I went to.
Yeah,
Rob and I went to a few gaming clubs. We thought they were going to be game days, so Rob and I went down to Pittsburgh, and Rob brought his 93 crates with him and everything, and I had my folder of stuff, and we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden we see all these vampire. I knew what they. You can tell them from a block away. And they're like
emo looking pricks. Yeah.
Well, I mean, back then it was weird. They were more into the 20s look, at least around here. They were more into I think that's what it was, wasn't it?
It was
Rob?
that clan.
I think
20s.
so.
We had it. It depends on the clan you were in. If you're, you know what I mean.
Maybe,
look,
I
right?
guess it did.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then me and Rob just looked at each other like, I guess we're going. Because neither one of us were going to do any. I mean that's where Rob drew the line on LARPing. I think was no Vampire Masquerade for him. So
no. If I'm going to LARP, I'm going to beat people up. So that's
there you go.
I gotta say though, I saw Rob's. You talk about Rob's crates. I finally got a chance to see that shit in full motion last year at ShireCon. It was something to see. Yeah, but you were well prepared, Rob. I said this to Tim. I don't know if I said it to you. DMing a game in person at a con, Rob, is your best and highest space. I don't know how else to put it. It's like you are in your complete and utter element at that moment. I've never seen you like that before, not even online. It was kind of impressive, actually. You were just rolling with it. It was pretty impressive.
I apologize, Joe, but I didn't hear your lead sentence, so I'm not sure.
He wants you to say it again, Joe. Say it again.
Say it again, Joe, because you're so nice.
Yeah, I said, Rob, I told Tim this a while back. I said, I saw your stuff, all your crates and all that shit, and I was like, my God. But when it came down to it, like DMing a game at a game convention is your place. It is your best and highest place to be. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's your
conventions, Joe. I mean, he does like in like if we were like in real, gaming in real life, Rob's very good at that.
He is. I was surprised because online, you know how it is. It's always a different thing. And I've never played with you guys in person except Derek, right? And now I've played with Rob.
Right.
But so it's a very different way to do it, and you kind of bleed over your in-person habits into online, but you really can't translate all of it. But I see really that you've done it so much that there it is. I mean, that's your place, man. That's your happy space. You know what I mean? Whatever else to call it. But yeah, you were on a roll, dude. I was impressed. I was doubtful at first that how are you going to manage all those fucking crates and boxes and the U-Haul truck you brought up here with all your shit, But
and that's
I didn't
still
overwhelm
down,
the guy with all of it. I had everything laid out. I knew where everything was.
You did. That's what I mean. You were rolling.
We need to add a dwarf to somebody's written adventure that has a whole bunch of crates that they're around on a cart or something.
There you
Well,
go.
if
all
you're
these
accurate,
behaviors.
if you're going to be accurate, the cart had to have a loose door, and when it makes a sudden turn, all the crates go flying out. Built out all over the road.
That's true. Yes.
Have you ever told that story?
Tim would definitely have to
show?
write all the content for that. I mean, I'm not familiar enough with the mannerisms.
Tim, have you ever told that story on this show? Or I know we've heard it in person.
I believe we did.
All right,
a while back.
That was great, man. Everything flying out the door, fucking papers everywhere.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh God, I'm looking forward to that. Your Tim is coming up this time. Greg is still bah humbug, motherfucker. You're not coming up, right, Greg? For ShireCon?
I don't hang out in Yankee Land. Okay.
Hey, it's there's like woods around.
I stay below the Mason-Dixon line if I can avoid it at all. Yeah, occasionally I make a foray into New York with my wife on a specific mission, but that
you'll go to France, but you won't come north, huh?
Yeah.
Hey. I went to New York twice before I went to France.
You didn't tell me you were going either, motherfucker.
And it smelled better in France.
I think Greg exists. Yes, we hung out in Manhattan. So
We
And next
we
time you
ate
do it, man.
at like on the lawn at not next to Battery Park, wasn't it?
Yes, it was
That's
very
yeah,
nice.
it was fantastic.
That's a nice area down there. Actually, it's
Yeah.
a good view. It's kind of cool. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Wait.
Next time you do it, though, I'm looking forward to this. And me and Rob have a thing where we both, these foam swords and shit. We're gonna have a little sword fight.
Yes, we have a duel coming up at the.
We do.
Oh my
It's my
God.
10 times watching Highlander versus his 10 years of LARPing. I suggest I will win, but
All
it will
right.
not
So,
be video.
so if they actually do this, guys, for everybody's out there, I will make sure that Matt and I have different angles of this fight.
Oh, no videotape.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
If you're fight, we'll blow your fat ass out. But we're definitely, and I say videotape, just aging myself. We're gonna record this thing,
Yeah.
from different angles, because if we're not doing it, there's gonna be some.
The whole neighborhood.
Yeah, everybody else is gonna be doing it.
Yeah. Rob, right? I mean, you've been here. So we're gonna do it in the back, that whole huge lawn area. And there's like half 16 apartments that could overlook this lawn area. I'm gonna have all the neighbors out there like, what the fuck is this about?
Be calling the cops on you pretty soon.
Yeah. Two fat men killing each other with swords. Get here quick.
They're gonna die of a heart attack.
That's the thing I'm worried about. I don't want my death stroke to be on camera. That's the really thing. Me or Rob. I don't want either of us to die on film.
Well, these days, if you do it in public, it's fair game.
God.
Yeah.
You ever-
Well, then I won't
you
have to
ever-
blur out your face then, because it won't
That's
matter.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
You're
Yeah.
an
it don't matter.
accessory to a coronary attack.
Hey Joe, I can bring you a tavern, and it would be clearly that we're doing something weird. So
Rob, it's gonna look weird enough with foam swords.
That's going to
signify,
signify, huh, Rob the Tabard?
Yeah. The foam battle axe and the Captain America shield I'm gonna be wielding won't give it away that it's fucking weird out there.
are we using shields or just swords?
I don't know. I got
All
some
the-
fucking rubber shurikens I'm gonna be throwing at your ass too, man. I'm all set. I'm loaded up. I'm loaded for bear here, man. It's on. It's on.
Oh,
So is yes to a shield?
Yeah, as long as but you're gonna bring one of those bitch ass shields that covers like a 6 foot by 4 foot shield that you can't even hit you.
Rob is
one
a
of them?
sword and board guy.
No, they're near illegal shields, which means you can't turtle under. They're not big enough to turtle behind, but yes, they're not like a dinky little thing either.
mean,
Oh,
So how
Climb the
much are
Mountain's
you
got
gonna
20
charge
bucks
for
on
this
Rob
20
already.
on
video?
Rob? You know what? We should have we should make this a fundraiser. Well, we should try to figure out a way to make this a fundraiser. Tim, you can videotape it. We'll put it together, and we'll see who the hell wins. And if neither of us dies, that's something. I think, really.
Don't rely on me recording it, because you guys know how good I am with technology. I probably end up recording my reaction to the fight. It would just be on me
just
the
have Ivy-
whole time instead.
Have Ivy show you how to do your phone, basically.
Right.
Oh, my brother's gonna come up. I'm gonna be trained.
The only concern is my right knee is shit. So
that's
Oh,
Go
we're having
for the right
excuses
knee.
already.
The
Joe.
excuses
Yeah.
begin.
Dude, why do you think I'm going to the gym so much? I'm prepping for this shit. I've got to lose another 30 pounds before this shit happens, man. I got knee braces lined up and ready to go. I'm all set, man.
It's part of
You
your
could use
armor,
the
huh?
money that we raised to create a Magic the Gathering printing press, and just begin printing out an endless stream of just copies of Magic the Gathering cards, and then just walk around at events and just drop them on the floor so people think, oh my god, I found this awesome card.
I found the Black Lotus.
Yeah.
Just
Gonna be
flood the
fun.
market.
It'll be
Yeah,
fun.
you know-
Speaking of which, the best part of this is going to be Jackson owes me a dinner. Remember? Because I beat his ass. I got to
You were just about to say $100. Every time you tell this story, he owes you more.
Well, it's $100 because
Oh, it
he
is
does
$100?
He was $100 plus dinner. Remember, it was
Oh,
two-part
right.
set.
Because it was for the charity, for $100
charity.
charity,
And so-
and then the dinner. Yeah, that's right.
I figured the
Are
best
we
charity
using
starts
New
at home,
York
so give it to
steak
me.
prices or Tennessee steak
Well,
prices?
it's gonna be
Because-
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Oh, well,
Connecticut. So it's
Connecticut.
We're going to go to that fancy
It's like
restaurant.
a colony of New York.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much.
kinda.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Suburb.
up in Litchfield County area, which is like weird place. It's like poor ass people who've been there for generations and have this land wealth, have a lot of land but no money, right? They're land rich but no money, and they're in like foreclosure and shit. And then there's like these rich people from like Hollywood or New York who come in and they just scarf up huge chunks of land and live there like a couple months in the summer or something like that. So it's just
Yeah.
weird, rich poor blend up that area, Very strange.
I think Solo and John have very good ideas there.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, well-
EMTs on site and the money raised to cover your medical expenses.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whose knee goes first. I got a bad left knee. What's your bad knee, Rob? Left, right, both? What do you got going on?
Man, you guys don't know how to fight. You never tell them that stuff.
Huh?
Rob's just saying. Look at, he's like, Rob's just like,
Dude,
Yep.
I'm just trying to get my endurance up, and I'm going full on rope-a-dope. That's my whole strategy here.
Can do a little Ali on him, huh?
That's it. I'm gonna go rope-a-dope. That's it. I'm gonna wear him out, and hopefully he croaks before I do, and then I just stab him. That's I win.
Oh.
I'm not going to be chasing after your fat ass. If you want to win the fight, you're going to have to come after me.
We'll have to have a ring, all right? We'll have to have. We'll take
I am happy with the draw, Joe. So if you want the bragging rights like you sound like you want, then you're going to have to come right at me.
TXG, I think you're being generous at 30 seconds. I think they're both going to be laying down, clutching their chest within like 15.
We'll see. I gotta get practicing with my.
Well, you have been working out, Joe. So
that's my thing. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I have a goal here.
I
have a goal.
Yeah,
I lost 125 pounds, mofo. I'm getting
yeah.
there.
You just got. The one thing I warn you about, Rob. Rob, is very dense. He's like,
what the hell does that mean?
That means like when he's charging at you and you think you're going to stop him, it's not going to happen.
Oh, I don't know that. I'm going to try to step aside. I got to work on that step aside move.
Because if he does a sword and board on you, you know what happened to Jeremy Renner, it's going to kind of happen to you.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting away.
I'm surprised you haven't brought up the Ren Fair incident.
Oh God, what is this?
Ren Fair, which one? Oh, the one where okay. So the Ren Fair, they had a fencing expedition, or not expedition, what do you call it? Exhibit type thing. So what they did to do this so people wouldn't get hurt is they put balloons on your head or on your helmet that you wore or your mask or whatever. And so your job was to try to
your shoulders.
Oh, did they put them on your shoulders too?
Yeah.
I remember because it made them look like a weird Mickey Mouse when they put them on their head and everything like that. So Rob and this instructor guy are dueling, and I think the guy scored like 1 or 2 hits on Rob. And then Rob, was trying to fence.
Yeah.
Okay. After the second balloon he went into full barbarian mode. He did, because he let out the big bellowing roar, and there was no swishy. It was just charged. His epi was raised over his head like a 2-handed sword, and this poor instructor was terrified.
It was a quarter blow.
That this poor guy's like, I thought he was just going to run away. Because Rob just looked crazed as he's charging him, and so they get, and then Rob, I think Rob, you got one of his balloons, and then he's like, okay, we're good. So they never
you forgot the best part. I got him fair and square, but I broke the damn sword on him.
Oh, you did break the sword on him.
Sword on him.
Wow.
Yes,
you went Rob Roy.
And I saw it. I called hold because now I got this jagged dagger in my hand, and I wasn't going to continue to fight with that. I mean, I went
Rob,
like that.
A real barbarian would have kept going, Rob. Just what I'm saying. Especially in a battle rage, I don't think you can really stop on this.
Well, I know you want to joke about this, Joe, but it was a safety hazard, so I called. I saw it and I called it.
The safety hazard was when you charged him with all your might, because if you would have landed on that, because I mean he was probably like half the size of Rob. He was a little dude. Yeah, you would have definitely caused him some serious damage if you would have just ran into it, because you went full blast. I knew what I was
doing. I wasn't going to slam into him, but because I bellow so loud.
Rob, there was no tactical thought in your head when you do that. You went full rage, so don't even try to say no. No, he just went all out after that poor little dude. Yeah, I'm sorry. Rob got invited back. I was surprised.
Really? Yeah. Well, they were scared. If you didn't invite him back, come after him again.
Brace our weapons. Well,
the last summer, I think it was, I when I got all these things, and I was messing around my nephew up at some party at my parents' house, and 17-year-old kid, he's all full of piss and vinegar, and he's the best of all his friends, and they do it every day and every weekend and hours and blah blah blah. I'm like, all right, man, let's see. I watched the Highlander, man, and I didn't tell him this part. I took fencing in college for a little bit, so he's doing the rope a dope deal, right? He's like swinging, just like as fast and hard. He's like he was doing it like I used to play racquetball when I was 17, right? That's how he was doing it. But I learned my lesson when I played racquetball at 17, and a 75-year-old beat my ass by fucking control and thinking about it, right? So I'm doing it like that because, of course, I'm fat and I can't do this any other way now anyway. So I just like waited, I waited, and he's moving around, swinging, I'm block, dodge, and then I just poke. That's it. Boom, point. He's like, the hell? His ego, he was shattered. He was like, he couldn't deal. And he's like, I want a rematch. No, next Thanksgiving. That's
Next
it.
Thanksgiving.
Now I'm going to have to fight him all summer just to get in shape for Rob, though. I don't want to fuck up, you know?
So the battle's going to be at ShireCon. So
Well, it'll be at my apartment because it's
going to be it's going to be a private affair. I thought you were going to do it in front of everybody.
An indoor battle?
No.
Well, we could do it at ShireCon. They got like a park, like
Rob,
yeah.
That would be every YouTube meme ever created. It would be two fat guys. I mean, Jesus.
I know. That's what I thought you guys were doing.
Put on the schedule, man. At ShireCon.
We'll sell tickets to it. We'll put it on as like a con event. Yeah.
Well, you know
Tim
what?
can
We could
stand
go
up
all
on the
out.
side yelling, lightning bolt, lightning bolt,
Yeah.
lightning bolt.
No. You did it wrong, Grant. You have to say, I call forth a lightning bolt, and say it really fast.
Oh.
I call forth a lightning bolt. I call forth a lightning bolt. I call forth a lightning bolt.
That's not how it goes in the video of the dude in the LARP.
I know. That's what it is.
Yeah, there's
he
a
was
meme
doing
of
that.
a dude
If he
yelling.
wasn't doing that, he was cheating. Got to say the booing can't.
Was he LARPing wrong?
We got a LARP lawyer here.
Somebody cut that thing of Rob saying that fast 3 times and make a little fucking GIF out of it or a meme or something, please. So whoever has that kind of a skill.
The internet probably.
I have the GIF skill.
You have the GIF us.
Yeah, I took GIF skill at my last level up.
Nice. That's a feat.
That's how I made that video of Kyle.
Oh, Kyle, that's right.
Moving like he was a South Park.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of ShireCon, we got to get on that shit about that contest. Remember, we did the preliminary categories.
Oh yeah.
Submissions, but we got to figure that out. I mean, we offered it. It's got it's a real deal. We'll have to figure that out over the next couple of months. People start submitting stuff. We need an email address, right, Eric? What are we going to call it? The Tankies, right?
Yeah, the Tankies.
Right, there was a Tanky.
Yeah, I made the little picture.
You did a little logo of Matt falling off the ladder. Yeah, that was our official logo. I think the award is going to have to be like a trophy, but you falling off a ladder, right? Isn't that what's going to be for each category?
We'll have it 3D printed.
I feel like you get you have the ladder. The trophy is the ladder, and it's tilted like it's falling over, and then Matt is on the kind of above the upper side, so he's kind of riding the ladder over as it falls. He's not under the ladder as it falls on him. Like he's on top of it, and there could be kind of like a Dr. Strangelove type, like one arm up, like it's a cowboy, riding the ladder down. Yeah,
just a scared looking ball guy on top. Just like
scared looking ball
guy. No.
Maybe we could use a Thanos action figure. And it would look close enough to Matt's
You're kind of
face.
not wrong on that front. Huh?
Yeah, he looks a lot like Thanos.
Right, he does. He does kind of.
We just spray paint it to be looking like him rather than what's the guy, purple or some shit. I'm not a Marvel guy.
Yeah, he's got a grimace look to him. Yeah.
Or we can spray paint Matt purple and then it just looks perfect.
That's true. That is true.
What's a DM off? TXG.
DM off. You DM, Joe DMs, who's the best DM? That's what.
That's my every week. Tuesday night, Rob.
Man, that sounds like those.
Sunday night, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like those DM contests they had in the early Dragon magazine that led to Frank Mentner being hired by TSR.
I vaguely remember that story. Yeah, that's how he got his job, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the great thing is, if we did it now, Wizards of the Coast wouldn't watch it at all. Because they don't care about hiring anybody.
They may send Pinkertons to the house.
That's right.
Yeah.
It would be like the tournament dungeon bullshit. I mean, who could say who's a great DM? We all have our style, and we focus on different things.
Yeah.
You and I are closer in style than me and Matt, certainly, me and Eric, I think, though, Rob. You know what I mean? we all have a different style. You know, you're right.
Sure.
Tim is different too. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
Greg is different. Yeah, we all have a very different style. I think Matt and Eric are close in style, and me and Rob are close in style. I would say if I had to categorize. What do you guys think?
You're probably right.
Yeah, I think like
Yeah.
a defining feature of like Tim's style, for instance, is putting a lot of the describe to me how you think this is happening on the
Yeah.
player, and you guys are more of here's what happened based on what you said. You know, like so that'd be a big distinction there. And then Eric and Matt are just off drinking beer and just running shit like by the seat of their fucking pants. You know? Oh, and then this happens, and then like an ogre punches through the door,
Like-
and then
Wait. I have an outline, and I have like 3 words for every room, so I'm good.
You do not, Eric. You don't even have that.
No. That's my con setup, my convention setup. I have.
Oh, your con setup. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, all right.
You know, because I've learned at conventions, it's like always plan for more than you need, but be able to cut anything
Right.
depending on the
As time
time
goes
frame.
over, yeah.
Because it's just like, okay, then navigate the second half. Move the big bad guy up because the
Right.
worst thing is that they're never going to find him.
Get the quantum bag guy. Come on, up here. You're moving up a room. Come on.
That was interesting when I saw you DM Eric. I was, in your game there, and
Uh-huh.
I was interesting to me was I've only been to one convention before that, and I sat down at DM'd. I don't think I played anybody's game that time, but everybody I looked around, everybody was sitting down, and you stood at the head of the table and stood up and DM'd the whole time standing up. I was like, what the hell? Is he ever gonna sit? It was like making me nervous, and I'm like, sit down, man.
Yeah.
But it worked, and you walked around the table, and I realized it was a necessary con tactic
Yeah,
because
that's what. Like if
everybody
we gamed in real, that's the way I do it too, Joe. I
Do
don't. I can't. I don't like sitting down when I'm
no shit.
GMing. No.
I sit at the table like it's my console, like I'm what's that eye patch guy in the Marvels? You know, sits there with all his computers in front of him. You know what I mean? I like all the shit there laid out.
Sure.
Yeah.
See, like I learned that I had to stand from working like North Texas, and I was doing a lot of convention games for Frog God, and you've got 8 people at the table, or often for me 9 or 10, because I'd be like in the hallway getting ready for the game, and some random person, Tenkar, you got more room at your table? I'm like, well, I got this one more seat because I'm not using mine. So yeah, come on in. So,
Yeah.
but you have other games usually going on in the same room. And if I'm sitting down, I won't necessarily be the focus of the players at my table. Right? There's just so much shit going around. And we'll be honest, people got cell phones, people are making notes, whatever they're doing. So if I stand up, if I project, first off, it means that you have to look at me because I'm standing above you. So you got to look.
Yeah.
Tenkar's talking. You got to look at him. He's there. But it also allows me to see my players, see whose focus might be floating off, or even see who may. I'm sitting down. I didn't see I forgot from my angle that I have a player sitting past Joe. They're quiet. They're
Yeah.
You know,
Plus, I'm so big you can't see him behind me.
right. If I'm standing up, because also when I stand up, if I have more room, like I can't do much Chiricon. Chiricon's a very tight situation because the way it's set up.
Tight.
But if I'm at like North Texas or GaryCon, I'll walk the table. I'll walk up behind you and ask, "What are you doing?" Because it's a technique that I learned as a quote instructor in the NYPD, which basically means that I would get, every couple of months we had new investigators coming in. I'd have a 3-hour window I had to fill and talk to people. And if I just stood in front of the room, people would ignore me after a while. They'd zone me out. But if I walked amongst them, everybody's fucking afraid that, oh shit, this asshole's gonna ask me a question because he's right next to me. I gotta pay attention.
Yeah.
And so it's part of that, you know.
What I used to do when I was a trainer for like an online legal research company, I'd go to, whether it was law firms or law schools, I had more fun at law schools because I would always bring a bag of like little candies. And then I'd ask questions. And if anybody answered it right, I'd whip a candy at their head. They have to catch it, self-defense. And then sometimes I'd ask the question and throw candies at random people. And so if you're might lose an eye. You're going to pay attention to this shit, but it's still, you're getting candy, so shut the fuck up, right? And they're always happy with the candy,
Well, you saw what I did, Joe. I basically do a lot of first-person role-playing with the people around the table, and I usually try to go around the table.
Yep.
And the second game, the one that had to harm players in it, who knew how to role play in a medieval setting. I didn't sit at the end of the table. I sat in the middle of the long side because there was like 5 or 4 of them. And so it was a lot easier for me to keep eye contact with
And you
everybody.
lucked out because they gave you the table at the end. If you had Eric's table that is usual somewhere in the middle table, Rob, you'd have been stationary. You could have stood, but you'd have been stationary because you would have been taking people out left and right, moving through.
Well, I specifically asked at a table against the wall where I can set my stuff. So.
Yeah, that's a good spot to be.
I always ask for that, but you also got the end, so you could walk behind people.
Yeah.
For me to, and I mean, I've been lucky where I've had, I had a year where I had an empty table next to me, and that was the year that I gave Rach my seat. So Rach was my 9th player because why waste a spot with my wife to sign up if I have an extra seat? And the guy whose table had nobody wanted his game, not even to play. It's kind of like this group on screen right now. The 5 of us go to a convention, and Rob is running a game, and none of us want to play with fucking Rob, right? So this guy came up with like 4 or 5 people, and none of his home group wanted to play in his shit.
Oh no!
Brewed something or other.
Wow.
So then he went online and bitched and complained about this. And that the convention should have peeled players off of overfull table. He didn't mention me by name, but the table next to me had more than 8 players, and they should have peeled off extra players to put players at my table. That's not the way it works, dude. If you got nobody signing up, you got nobody signing up. It means that you had a bad pitch, or other people had better pitches, or your own fucking group said, I can't do this, man. You couldn't put me at gunpoint. And here's the thing:
bad.
You have to realize when you go to a gaming convention, all right? If you are a GM, you are a DM, you are part of the entertainment. That is your role. You're there to entertain others. The players are not there to entertain the GM. People aren't obligated to play in your game. You want to present a good game. You want to have a good reputation. You're going to get players filling up your game. That's great. If you get nobody, you get nobody. If you get an incomplete table, it happens. Maybe you suddenly pull out a deck of cards and you do something different. But
walk around and talk to people. That's the fun part. I usually have a Shire Con. I'll play in the morning and I'll hang out the afternoon and just walk and talk. And I was talking to Joe Block for half an hour. It's like little things that you just get to know people. That's the fun part. And have a few beers.
Sure.
Hey,
play with some stolen magic cards.
Bye.
Oh.
Hey, I signed up to North Texas. Do you want to hear my games that I'm in?
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So I arrive on Wednesday. I leave here at like fucking butthurt in the morning, like 5 a.m. or something is my flight because I refuse to take a multi-stop. I'm going nonstop. That's it.
I don't blame you.
The only one out of Hartford is like 6 a.m. or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'll get there stupid early on Wednesday, but there's no games. I guess there's some hanging out and bullshit we'll do. And then I'll wake up on Thursday and I have a game in the morning called Run the Loot. That is by Game Master Michael Lee and your fledgling guild. Oh, I picked this, Rob, because it's City Invincible Overlord. So I wanted to see how somebody else ran City Invincible Overlord. And so it basically.
Oh, they have an Invincible Overlord game there.
Yeah.
How do you make an Invincible Overlord?
No,
you're going to have to tell me how they did that.
They're just running it in there,
Yeah, and so the plot is it's celebration week for the city of Invincible Overlord. The whole town revels in the glory of the Overlord. Wine flows, parties abound, and thieves get to work. Your fledgling guild will decide on a name symbol, then gather rumors, plan heist, and run the loot. So that is my first game. And I I picked that because let's see how it goes, Invincible Overlord and all that, right? Then that night, that afternoon rather, at 2:00, I am playing in a game with James Radji. He's running it. he's trying out a new module there.
Mm.
So called the Castle of Ice Castle of Fire. And I'm sure we're all going to be like, like the one time I actually played tested one of his modules. It was like some zombie baby was dragging around his dead mother by the umbilical cord or something.
Sounds like a James Reggie adventure.
And I didn't get no credit, the goddamn credits for that playtest shit, man. He horrified me. I had to get.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did tell me.
Yeah. I'm gonna bust his balls about it when I see him. And then, so that's Thursday and Friday, and I figured nighttime I reserved for hanging out, eating, chilling, whatever,
Right.
So
Good. You can join on the live podcast.
All right. Yeah. That's cool if you're doing it. Yeah. All right.
And,
so then on.
I think Thursday is the whiskey tasting.
All right. There we go. So then definitely that fits well because I took nothing Friday morning for some reason, but on Friday afternoon I'm playing in a game Hyperborea: The Lost Treasure of Atlantis, and that's being run by Zach Pierce. I don't know who he is, but it's a full house. And
it's not run by what's his
Kalanian?
Yeah.
No. I was
okay.
surprised. This shit filled up so fast. I was a few hours behind in signing up, and I was like, God damn it. So I'm going to check periodically, see people dropped or whatever. But I figured too, like Eric, like you said, it might be able to just hop in a game or something.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday, I did a morning game, Rats in the Wall, the Brazen Bull, another Hyperborea game. This one run by Chance Dale. I don't know who he is, but yeah, it'll be fun. So I got 4 games I signed up for, and should be a good time. I think be a good time. I'm looking forward to just hanging out, meeting all these people too.
Someday I'll get down there.
Yeah. Now my schedule, I get there Wednesday. We fly out like a 12 o'clock flight. So
I'll be there before you leave.
What's up?
I'll be there before you leave New York.
Yeah, I know. So Thursday afternoon at 12 o'clock is our first game, and it's Fuzzy Heroes. And I've seen this being run for ages. It's been run by Chris Clark. Chris Clark is one of the old school guys. He has his own publishing company with a friend of Gary's back in the day. I know Chris pretty well. Fuzzy Heroes is one you actually use like plush animals for this game.
Okay.
It's
like a millennial game.
Favorite sentient toy. So I was like, you know what? We'll do something that's lighthearted. We'll start out with that, and I like hanging out with Chris anyway. So I was like, that's a good way to start it. And that's the only thing on Thursday. Because I know we'll just stumble into stuff and people want to go out to eat or so hang. So now Friday, and I did it last year, and I was glad I did, but I didn't want to do it because the time sucks. I mean, everybody said the time sucks, so of course that's why we're doing it at the same time again. 7 a.m. Friday morning. The second
annual, out already.
The second annual. How early did you say Podcasters Breakfast? We got about 20 people there last year. I'm assuming they're going to get more people for this year.
You all got to get down there and do a live podcast on your own channel, or is it one podcast on whose channel?
No, it's all the podcasters getting together and comparing notes and maybe arranging to go on other people's shows and all that stuff. And
I'll join that. That sounds cool.
It's a pretty interesting thing. Then at noon Friday, Friday's that busy day. Hail Caesar Salad. It's an MCC game. Mutant Crawl
Classics. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's running that one? Is that Ian McCarthy? And I know Ian pretty well, so that should be a lot of fun. And then Friday afternoon at 1600, 4 o'clock. Licenses and legalities for RPG publishing. So that's gonna. These are one of the seminars. I think last year, the legal seminars are hit or miss in the number of people who show up, but the questions are good. And I'm usually obligated to show up because I'm usually involved in one thing or another. So I'm an expected face in the crowd, so they can hit me for topics. So I'll be there for that. Saturday morning at 8 a.m. New Top Secret New World Order with Merle Rasmussen. Operation Way Down Under. I've played in Merle's games in the past. He's a fucking awesome GM. A lot of fun. Top Secret plays out very well as an RPG for like one shots and con games. So
Never played it. What is it? A mystery game or is it a spy game?
it's a spy game. It's a spy
Okay.
game.
Spy game.
Yeah, Merle wrote the original for
Oh.
TSR back in the day,
Oh,
Top
shit.
Secret. And then he wrote the second version of, I guess, or the new version of it, Top Secret New World Order, for what was TSR. So, and then that's it. That's at 8 a.m. And then at noon, Zach and Skeeter's 26th annual, because it isn't 26th annual, small publisher seminar. That's Zach
I saw
Glazer.
that on the list. I was thinking about doing that.
I don't think you need to sign up for it. You just probably
Okay.
show up. It's going to be
Yeah.
in the Irving Lecture Hall. Yeah, you'll be fine. And then Saturday afternoon, they do the main auction, I think at 4:00. It's just...
I was wondering about that because it wasn't an event to sign up for. So it's an auction Saturday. What time?
It's an auction. You don't sign up for it. Very little schedule during that time.
Yeah.
It is... Listen, I've been on stuff every year. It's a lot of fun. I had a bidding war, I think, my first year when Frank Metzner was the one doing the auctioneering. And I was in a bidding war, and I didn't realize who I was in a bidding war with for some Coca-Cola wooden dice. And Coca-Cola is what the old nightsticks were made out of. They make a nice sound when you hit. So I was like, I thought that made me great.
Nice satisfying clunk.
Then I realized when these dice got up to like, I don't know, like $150, and I'm like, that then I find out that I'm bidding against Bill Webb's son, and it's Bill Webb's pocket wallet that I'm bidding against. And I'm like, oh, there's no way I'm winning this shit. I'm like, I'm tapping out. But every year they have like just good stuff, and I believe Jim Kitchen is running the auction again this year, so it's going to be fucking hilarious. And it's amazing stuff that comes up, stuff that nobody on this podcast right now would ever own, let alone normally see in real life. And you're like,
what's the weird? Name some weird shit you've seen come up for auction.
I've seen like wood grain boxes pop up. Those are like the first print of D&D, and they all have somebody's name on it. Like this was, Dan K. This was, whoever. Amazing stuff pop up, and some oddities. So it's just a lot of, and that room fills up quickly. It becomes standing room only. It's a lecture hall. It becomes standing room only. So usually, once they allow people to start get a seat. I always sit toward the back.
Yeah. Saturday at 4. I have a morning
Saturday
slot,
at 4.
so I'm good to go. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Or early afternoon, I should.
Yeah, and then Saturday night, the midnight auction is the most fun that is probably legal to have at a gaming convention. The fact that they actually the hotel serves drinks, and for the first half hour, they actually have the roll up bar, so you can get, because they know you need to be. But that doesn't. People are just walking around with bottles of liquor, pouring stuff for everybody else. It is, it's not debauchery. And the fact that Mike is dressed as a devil has nothing to do with it. It is.
You're talking Bohemian Grove shit. Am I going to get initiated into some secret order and no passwords and stuff?
No, but
I'm not fucking a sheep. I'm not fucking a sheep. I'm telling you right now, I'm not fucking a sheep.
Every year, one of the regulars of the con becomes the target.
Oh god.
I was the target a couple of years ago, and when I say the target, or the subject, it's like. So at last year's con, apparently Tenkar left his bag of goodies. And it's like, inside there was a Swords and Wizardry complete, the burning vagina bush cover.
Yeah.
Signed to me by Stacy. Something like, something else like, in love, signed Gareth, So, and of course, the thing is, now it's an embarrassing bag of your shit that really isn't your shit. but it becomes the focus of the auction often for the midnight auction. And I didn't even get my bag. I tapped out at $350. I was like, I can't even afford my own bag because everybody was having too much fun outbidding me. We've had artwork put up, some amazing. So the midnight auction, little things sneak up. Like I've got one year, I got oh God, which adventure was it? Was it B1 or B2? It was a beat up copy, but signed by Errol Lotus.
Oh,
Do you remember how much that beaver went for
Beaver?
in the end?
Beaver?
The flame beaver,
I know nothing.
flaming dire beaver.
I know nothing. Cat, this is your third time up for the show. You made enough appearances yet?
Hey, Ken, the guy in our Tuesday group, he was traumatized by giant beavers.
that requires some explanation, or else it's defamation, Rob.
That was kind of a weird segue, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
we were
it is
in the
written.
middle of a campaign, and there were some nomads threatening the party, and he either summoned or animal friendship a pair of giant beavers and sent them after the nomads, and later on the party stumbled across the ruined remains of their village that was ravaged by giant beavers that Ken sent, and he sounded like he had actual remorse over the whole incident.
Well, Kenny might have. You know?
He was a bit traumatized. After.
Yeah.
He has those, what are they called? Feelings.
Yeah, those pesky things that get in the way of being a sociopathic murder hobo in D&D.
Yeah, like what you guys are doing in my most recent module.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry, man, but I don't do leprechaun riddles well, man.
Oh,
I was tapping.
what's amazing to me is that I didn't draw first.
Tim did.
Yeah, it's amazing. It wasn't Greg the problem here.
I know. Greg
I don't think I was the problem. I think I was the solution.
It helped. I gotta say.
Yeah, because when you start rhyming, I just I think every character I would have, even if it was a lawful good paladin, he would be willing to
kill the leprechaun.
Yeah, he would be okay with it. Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible. We show up in this.
What was awesome is they all died before they even got a attack in?
Yeah, it was glorious actually.
Yeah, every single one of them died.
It was leprechaun blood, green blood everywhere. It was fantastic.
I killed like 3 of them.
I was gonna say, didn't you kill them all in one hit there, Greg?
No, one of them made it escape my blade. You shot one first, then I attacked 3 in a row and killed them, and then one of the other guys.
It was justified genocide because these motherfuckers started talking to us, 5 of them, in leprechaun rhyme lyrics, and with the voice Rob was doing. And then they started giving us clues. I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to pay attention, even though I'm pissed off and it's annoying me. Then they started contradicting each other's clues and arguing. And I think after the 3rd contradiction, Tim started swinging.
No. I shoot him. I just shoot him.
That was it. I was like, all right, my crossbow's loaded too.
Go on, shoot. Yeah.
I couldn't believe they were low enough level that I got 3 attacks in.
That was glorious.
I was expecting to just
I won't even
one.
ding you. Check the monster manual. Yes, they're
won't
not
even ding you.
Then after that, we had to
guys, so you know, they were being inflicted with stuff like this. In sorrow deep, I tell my tale of leprechaun and dryad's frail. Their songs now hush, their stories stilled. A void within the.
It was already twitching.
I am.
I'm ready to kill.
Yeah. Like, gotta loosen up the neck.
Yeah. John.
To mourn their fate, we gather here and hope that brighter days appear. With memories kept in our heart, the spirits live as we depart.
Yeah, so it's a roll for initiative, essentially, after that nonsense.
Yeah.
And they started contradicting each other, you know?
It does make me happy because I was developing a bit of a reputation for murder.
Yeah.
And then Tim was like, I got this. And he just
hold my beer.
Yeah, I was debating doing the next thing because you guys were getting so intolerant. Okay, they can't stand limerick. They can't stand in pentameter. Okay, let's go to haikus. Morpho Green Man
Yeah,
speak.
that would have been.
Oh yeah,
Leprechaun,
haiku
Dryad, now
always
gone.
makes it better.
Silent songs, lost tales. You know, at least you only have to endure 3 lines of stuff.
Leprechaun haiku. That can't possibly have gone wrong. You know?
Hi, I'm a
funny.
leprechaun from Nippon. How are you? I don't think so.
Then with the talking tree, started talking like Treebeard, and I'm like, I looked around at the dead stares at everybody else who was playing. I'm like, I'm shooting. That was it.
Right.
Let the scene.
That damn tree escaped though,
He did. We still got XP.
which
I
is
think, didn't we?
uncharacteristic for a tree.
I know.
Trees don't often escape.
You would think. Kind of disappeared.
So solo ramming, no, I had the help of ChatGTP. I suck at coming up with poems. So I decided, given the nature of the module, I decided to try using ChatGPT. And while I had some things prepared beforehand, I mean, the unexpected direction the whole conversation took means I was improvising on the fly.
I hear you typing. I'm like sending a private message to
We
somebody.
can definitely hear the typing.
Yeah. Then.
Right.
Then
Well,
no, it's
I'm
not
going to share my
ChatGPT.
screen. I mean, the rhymes aside.
Screen share coming up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you
Bingo
can mark
card.
off your
Mark off your bingo card, folks.
Which we still
Bingo
never
card.
shared the ones that Matt made. He's still butthurt about that, by the way. You know,
I'm
just-
sorry.
Like
he was
all
lying
Matt
about it.
Jackson projects, it was unfinished.
Oh shit.
Oh, nice.
What we got?
What-
What am I looking at? I can't read
Yeah,
that.
what am I looking at? I'm
My
seeing
old
a.
eyes.
Do you
Listen,
see my
listen.
screen, guys, or
No, I'm
not?
looking at Eric's showing us.
I'm showing what Rob is showing.
By the way, does
I
Eric
think you're
look
showing
red?
the wrong screen, Ron.
Does Eric look
All right.
red to you guys today, or is it just me?
Does he look red?
Red. His face is red, or is it my? I got a new video card.
It might be my lighting. I don't know. You
Okay.
want me to adjust
He
my
is
Oh.
wearing a sky blue. It might be
Yeah,
How's that
contrast.
going?
I'm wearing my lounge around the house RPGs on the beach shirt from gaming with Aloha. These guys came to North Texas a couple of years, and we're giving out shirts in Gamers Large, so it's like a double or triple X. So it's just like I want to bang, if I want to look like I belong in an institution, this is the shirt that I wear because it just has extra room.
Okay, I got the screen up, Eric.
Okay, hold on. There we go.
There you
That
go.
looks a lot better.
So after the leprechaun incident, the party continued on, and they went into an area with a dryad wood. So I typed in here: a dryad steps out of a tree, greets the party with a rhyme of greeting, and this is what it did a pretty good job. These guys' aversion to rhyming poems aside, and then we did some role playing, and Ken, who played the mage, of the
Already get
party,
laid. He was like, "No, I want to fail my saving throw and go get laid." He's like,
Yeah,
awesome.
and so I came up with she, as you can see, have the dryad tell the mage that she'll be glad to spend a year and a day with the mage, and so they came up with this. And then when they were interacting with the tree man, I had, I typed in ChatGPT, this is how I wanted role play, come up with in blank verse. And this is rather long.
Very.
And then
Yeah.
I rejected that one. So I had to do it again. And this time in a limerick, which was going to be shorter. And this is what I came up with.
And you now all guys can see that it was justifiable.
It was
homicide.
justified homicide.
Yeah. We had to do
right.
it, folks. We had
you know,
to.
We had no choice.
That's it. I mean, anybody would see that. If not just the insanity justification. The insanity defense is good. But
So, the party's free to do whatever they want, as long as they're willing to suffer the consequences.
yeah, exactly. It's
I
not a railroad.
did find
exactly.
the frozen in time waterfall to be a pretty cool.
That was nice. I like
experience.
that.
That
Is
was
that your
nice.
adventure, Rob, or did you steal that somewhere?
I will reveal all at the end.
All right. Yeah, that was
Uh-oh.
cool.
I will say, no, I can actually say I can't take credit for this adventure.
All right.
I'll take credit for how I present it, but not for or criticism in case of the poems. But yeah, I'll reveal
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the ticket. I'll whip it out at the
But
end.
you have a whole bunch of angry stags now to deal with.
Yeah, that's where we left off. We were surrounded by dudes with antlers. Yeah. Especially
They-
stags. Yeah, yeah.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Well, we've proven that so far, pretty much for 6 levels. So yeah,
That's right.
that's pretty much.
Looks
our
like
MO.
dinner came to us. That's all I had to say about that.
Medicine, boys.
Medicine for everyone.
Yeah.
Eric, what are the top 5 things I should know about going to North Texas for the first time? What's your advice? Tell me what.
All
Clean
right.
underwear.
Yeah, well,
Hey, how about this one? North Texas was the first con I went to where I didn't suffer from somebody else's body odor.
all right,
So,
that's good.
Oh, nice.
Older people
Pe-
shower. Nice.
People shower. But something you should know, it is the Dallas-Fort Worth area
Hot
the
as balls.
first week of fucking June.
Yeah.
My first North Texas, the year that Rach and I was at a different hotel, and it was like we went to the wrong Marriott. So we went to one that had like, I don't know, marble floors and like really like, holy shit, this is the hotel. I went, oh no, you want the Marriott like south. You're in the north. I was
That's
like,
the ghetto one, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So we hop a cab to the other one, and we got a Brooklyn Jewish cab driver
All right.
who's like,
Oh, there.
and he's like, "Where you from?" I go, "Oh, New York." Because we're in New York. I go, "Queens." We're in Queens. I go, "Elmhurst." He's like, "What the fuck are you doing here right now?"
It's
I
hot,
got his
motherfucker.
words. He goes, "This is my." He goes, "Next week I go back to New York for the summer to drive my cab." Because I'm not driving in Texas in this weather. I'm like, "Oh, well, I got a convention to go to, so I have no choice." Last year wasn't horribly hot, but other years it has been step outside and just fucking melt.
Yeah, I don't need to step outside of it. I mean, is the air conditioning okay?
Air conditioning is okay.
All right.
Air conditioning is fine. So,
All
things to know.
Yeah.
The food at the hotel, the hotel bar / restaurant has decent food,
All right.
and the prices aren't horrible, and they will have a convention menu,
All
so you
right.
can go and get your lunch and get like your, I don't know,
Sandwich and chips or something, whatever.
yeah, and they're actually like homemade chips. So if you
Oh,
get
nice.
the chips, they're actually like, they're not like potato chips. They're wow, holy shit. So the food there is good, but they're gonna have trucks. They're gonna have
Okay. Food trucks outside, like a
food trucks are awesome.
yeah, yeah.
They
All
are
right. Like a
spot
beer
on.
garden. Yeah.
Only problem is if it's a hot day, you're standing in the heat.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's well, that's how you burn the calories before you get to the greasy burger.
Right.
So, yeah.
Number 2, when you're gaming at your table,
Yeah.
you can get delivery brought to your table. The serving wenches will come around. They'll take
Serving
your order. They'll go to, and it's food from the bar / restaurant.
They hot?
They'll bring it to you. They've been doing this for years. They are sweet girls. I find them very attractive, but I am not going to speak for
Admit that in
anybody
front
else.
of Rachel. I know. I understand.
All right, I'm just saying. I also know them. I know them by first name.
Okay. Yeah.
You hang out with them on like Sunday night when everybody else is gone to the convention. You're all hanging out with them at the bar, drinking and telling stories. So
Yes, hanging out.
hanging out at the bar with my wife. Yes.
Uh-huh.
What else? There was a designated smoking area where everybody sneaks out to the side and goes and smokes.
Speaking of which, you got a weed connection down there?
It's Texas, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're in the wrong
Yeah, I
state for
know.
that.
I was thinking
Yeah.
about smuggling some edibles, but I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, if you want a firearm,
Yeah.
you're all
Yeah.
set.
I can't buy a joint, but I could get 4 guns and an M16 walking out the door.
Exactly.
Doug used to strategically place firearms in secure locations throughout the facility when Doug was around. So let's just say there was never a firearm too far if you needed one.
You can carry yours, Eric, as a former cop, you get the.
Doug,
You
Doug
imagine
was-
on a plane you can't bring it. You can't put it on your body, but you bring one.
No, but here's the problem with flying with firearms. Could I fly with a firearm? Certainly. I had to put it in checked luggage, a locked box within my checked luggage. I have to declare it when I get to the airport, yada, yada, yada. Port authority will have to come. Here's the issue. when luggage gets broken into, what luggage do people break into at the airport? The luggage that has locked boxes within it.
Right.
Yeah.
So why? I don't need it.
Yeah,
I've never had any issues down in Texas, so don't
I
need it.
thought Stacey D started some shit with you. I thought,
That was no, but she started that shit after the con.
Oh, after the convention.
Yeah. At the con, at the con. Well, Tenkar saw me many times, and he did not come up and approach me to say hello.
You're a bitch.
Well, I saw you running with him. In any case, the smoking
You
area.
have committed female crimes, sir.
Yeah. Don't approach me. Female crime. I saw his wife next to him constantly.
Well, that would be appropriate for the Pinkertons then. It's
Yeah.
Like, my wife is legally blind.
That was
Go figure that one out. But
yeah.
So the smoking area is where everybody. The smoking area is 2/3 non-smokers, because you're going to go out if you want to talk with Matt Finch, Bill Webb, everybody else who fucking smokes. You're going to catch them outside when they're smoking. So if you want to catch a lot of these people that you're like, don't know the time to find, that's where you're going to find them.
Love you too, by the way. Praxis. Just I got a weed hookup already in text. Thanks, Drastic. I appreciate it. Life is good.
Yeah, you do. There's always,
There's always somebody. I gotta
exactly.
somebody.
Yeah.
Are you going to be high when you fight Rob, or are you going to try to keep your wits about you?
I'll keep my wits about me. I mean, he's LARPed a couple times, so
that would be a wise move.
Oh,
TXG. I don't have an issue because HR 218, the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Act allows me to carry retire so long as I qualify once a year. I can carry it all 50 states and territories. That's not an issue. Okay, but Texas, I don't like carrying when I'm on vacation because it makes me feel like, even though I'm retired and still working, and trust me, I would really rather not.
Plus, in Texas, no matter what you bring, you're going to be outgunned. So it really, I mean,
pretty much. What else can I say? Number 3, if you want a lot of limited print number stuff, like OSR releases, the con releases a couple of products usually every year that are donated. They're sold at the registration desk. It's always good stuff, and it's usually sold out by midday Saturday. A lot of stuff. So
that's cool.
So something to know. Auctions. I mentioned those 2 other auctions. Yeah. There is a 3rd auction that goes on every day. It's a silent auction. It's in the main main room of the con, across from the registration desk for the con, and they'll probably have like 9 or 10 different items auctioned off every day. You put your name on the sheet. You put like your bid. So that's how I got the first printing of Deities and Demigods signed by every artist that was in the book.
Nice.
It was a beater copy. It's like somebody took this and I don't know, shoved it up a dog's ass and then got it out. However, it was signed by every artist, and I was like, I never had a copy of it, so that's how I got
the first edition one you were talking about.
Yes,
oh,
I think it cost me like $95. I mean,
I dropped about $130 on eBay. Tim, it's your fault. God damn it! You started talking about yours. You started talking about yours. I'm like,
oh yeah, mine is just like mine's basically duct taped together. My poor copy. Yeah, but I've had it since I think the 81 or 8, whatever, with early 80s. I don't know.
Mine has Cthulhu and the Melibonian stuff, and it's beat to hell and back.
Mine is a decent shape, but I mean, still, God damn it, But now all this talk though, especially with Greg doing the Dark Sun mock-up, rip off essentially. It
is not a ripoff if you had read it.
Dad Mike would say it's an improvement.
It's an improvement. Yeah. It's got me thinking about looking at it, just the original Dark Sun shit. That's one of the few things I kind of like back in my head want someday, maybe. You know what I mean? I don't have it though. I have the Dark Sun book on psionics just because I wanted, because they expanded on 2D psionics, which in my opinion was the best one.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but so I bought that just because I like their psionic rules, but I don't have the system.
No, I don't have anything from Dark Sun.
Yeah, it's one of those back in the head. Maybe you always want to try it someday kind of thing.
Well, see, now you're talking Dark
You can
Sun.
try it for a mere $8. Available at Drive-Thru
Oh.
RPG. Go to the Chubby Funsters publisher page.
Chubby Funster using AI art to get me. Hey, make me some art in the form of Dark Sun / Brahm.
I did not use AI
I know.
art
I'm
at
joking.
all.
I know.
Look, he
But-
came real back from mute real fast, didn't he?
Yeah, I
Not
did.
use AI art. But one thing that you should not overlook is, like you have the main vending hall, and that's always really cool. Bad Mike has a lot of stuff. I think it was last year somebody just donated their whole gaming collection and just dropped it off. And Bad Mike, before he had a chance to price it, I was already picking shit out. It's like, but in that main area where you have the silent auction, you also have Artist Row, and a lot of people Artist Row. So you're gonna have where a lot of the artists will have their booth set up. They'll have original
nice.
art.
I was wondering about that. What kind of shit can you buy there? Is it just like a couple people, or is it like a nice setup for a lot of vendors?
There's a lot of vendors like so. Black Blade Publishing will be there, so it's all your independent OSR people plus Goodman Games. Goodman's like half their area. They've got like 2 or 3 tables usually worth. Troll Lords may or may not be there.
Hit or miss, I heard. Yeah,
it's hit or miss with them. Bad Mike has a huge collection that he has up. New Comic Games will have some 5e stuff in their stuff.
Black Page will be there, and they'll have my stuff.
Black Page will be there. Yeah, I mentioned that with the DCC and all. Rob's stuff is there. I always look at Rob's stuff and point it out to people. Hey, I know Rob Conley. Pacesetter Games will have a huge selection. There'll be I forget the name of the seller. If you like collectible, like Mike will have stuff that you might need. Like you have a hole in your collection, it isn't too obscure. If you want obscure stuff, you have another guy who's selling stuff. I always avoid it because my wallet can't support it. But they'll probably be there. And I think there's an overflow in a secondary room for additional vendors. There's vendors outside. So I don't know if Jeff D was there. Jeff D wasn't there last year, but usually Jeff D is there.
outside, like in the goddamn boiling.
No, outside of the main vending area.
Oh, all right.
Have
Who do you want to kill?
No,
Jesus, Texas.
no. Like Diesel LaForge is, you'll have stuff there. Darlene will be there. Darlene is a sweetheart. Oh my
God! You
god!
shit home, Eric. You ship it in by the mail. You just have an extra bag on the plane and just pay for the.
All right, so for me, I generally don't go with I like when I pack clothes. Like I'll always have like one day of clothes at least that I know is like disposable. So I need to I don't need that shirt to go home with me. Those pants can stay.
You should have left that blue one. Just saying, but
I'll be sleeping in this one. But I told you this is my gamers large XXX. But there are a lot of really cool vendors. I do think about what I have to get home. So a lot of times, remember I go with Rach. So I'm already figuring out what can I fit between our 2 carry-on luggages and our 1 under the seat bag. What can I fit? I'm already thinking that through. I've never had to send anything back by mail yet. I coming back from my first GaryCon, I sat next to a woman going back to Brooklyn, who she had to check her luggage because I don't know how she lifted the bag. It was so big that they wouldn't. She thought she could use it as a carry-on. It's the carry-on that they grab at the door and tell you it's got to go into the hold. And when it came back up at the end of the flight, I was like, "How the fuck are you? You're going to need wheels to move this thing." It was that much stuff. Some people come back with a lot. I always have to figure out what I can fit.
What's the bags cost on? I haven't flown. I honestly, I have not flown. I've been thinking about this in over 20 years. You know, I mean, just after 9/11 is the last time I flew. A couple of years after, and that was it.
Right.
Early 2000s. So I don't even know what the hell the. What if I had brought an extra bag and stuffed it full of books? What's it going to cost me? A couple $100 just to, for the extra bag cost on the plane or what? That's got to be nuts. I could bring an empty carry-on bag. I guess that's the only way to go. Interesting.
For the auctions, you can pay cash or credit card. You're going to get an auction number. So when it was smaller, they just kind of knew who you were.
Yeah.
But now you get your auction number. Especially like usually for me, it's the midnight auction. So at the midnight auction, at the end of the auction, I got to go up and it's like, yeah, number 13. Okay, Tenkar, yeah, you got this, this, and this. They have your stuff waiting for you. You're gonna pay cash. You're gonna put in your card, and then you pay for it. And you leave with stuff. Most of the vendors take credit cards. Usually they're using I guess
Apple thing or whatever,
or the PayPal swipe.
Yeah.
They usually got it on their device. I think everybody takes credit card pretty much. You can get original art, but here's the biggest secret of North Texas. That a lot of Mike and I talk about it a lot. People overlook it. North Texas is a con with it's going to hit 500 people this year. It's going to
Wow.
They're going to sell out. Walk-ups will probably not be very many because there won't be any available badges. But the biggest secret to North Texas is that the number of special guests you have at North Texas at 500 attendees is probably equal to what you get at Gary Con at 3,000 and Game Hole at 4,000. You are 1/6, 1/8 the size, same number of special guests. So you walk into the bar and you're going to be like, hey, is that I don't know this guy, but that name looks familiar. Oh shit,
Yeah.
that's Alan Hammock. And they'll sit down with you and they'll talk and they'll relax. Or you're gonna hear, hello everybody. It's like, oh my god, it's Stefan. As they give him a private room in the bar so he doesn't blow everybody out with his Ozzy Osbourne. But
Stefan, is he that fucking that terrain guy?
yes, Jordan Forge guy.
Yeah,
Stefan.
I met him once. I met him at he was a little
He's-
crazy. I met
He's a met him at ShireCon. No, not ShireCon.
no, I met him at Zach's thing like 10 years ago. Zach's
okay.
art show. He showed up outside. He was kind of hyper, man. That guy had a whole lot of energy in him.
He's
You
a
know?
whole- Stefan, listen, Stefan is a
That,
sweetheart.
if I remember right, it was him.
Yeah, no. Stefan, he took an Uber from Brooklyn to TotalCon one year.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
Okay, he is.
That's a fair amount of money, isn't it?
Yes,
a lot
it
of
is.
money. That'd be
Yeah.
$300, $400.
Yes. So Stefan is. I really enjoy Stefan. He's a force of nature. So Stefan runs games. He's a special guest. He runs games. He ships his terrain there ahead of time to the con. They have a boardroom for him, and it's within the convention room block. So, God help you if you happen to have a room adjacent to the boardroom where Stefan is blasting Ozzy throughout his gaming. It's going to be a long night for you.
Well, what
But,
I want to know, does he set up his terrain or he has flunkies do it?
I believe he sets it up. He gets there and he sets it all up.
Cool. Good for him.
Here's a list of guests. And I'm terrible with names, Eric. You mentioned names that I'd like, I've seen him on a book somewhere 30 years ago. I don't know anybody, but some
Yeah.
of these I do recognize. You got Ben Barsh, Bill Barsh, Ben
All right.
Barnes.
So the Barshes are pace setter games.
Okay.
Right.
And Bill Barsh is the father. Bill organizes the the BattleTech room every year, or otherwise known as the open liquor room. But yeah, go ahead.
Let's see. We got Ben Burns.
Ben Burns has won a number of Three Castle Awards.
Oh,
Was it not Fiery Comic Games, but he does a lot of Call of Cthulhu support stuff. He has his own own line of games. He'll have a vending table there too.
All right.
Vend to people. You're cutting out, Joe.
What?
We didn't hear you. Next one.
Didn't hear you.
Oh, you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I turned my head a little bit. Let's see. So I'll paste some. I'll paste up the green chat there. You could just read the names that way. See who I don't know who these people are for the most part.
All right. You can put him in you put him in the. All right. So Ben Burns, Chris Clark, Fuzzy Heroes, former business partner of Gary Gygax, part of Eldrick Ent Publishing back in the day, the company that did not believe in the OGL or the D20 system license. Levi Combs, he's our generation.
Big zine guy.
Yep. David Zeb Cook was involved. I think one of the projects he was involved with on one level was Oriental Adventures.
Didn't he do the planes, manual planes? Cook? Was that him?
It might have done that.
That's Grubb. That's Jeff Grubb.
All right, yeah. They worked a lot together. Darlene, she did the map for Greyhawk.
Map for Greyhawk. She's an artist in her own right.
I spent hours talking with Darlene last year. It was amazing. Jeff D, Villains and Vigilantes. Alyssa Faden is like the mapper of our generation.
She's amazing. I've seen that shit. Sorry, Matt. She puts your ass to shame, man. But she does. I bought Gaxmore because I saw her map. Like, Jesus Christ. And Gaxmore is pretty good in itself, but she did the map of Castles Crusades. I'm like, that city is awesome.
Yeah, no,
amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
And she's really good people. That's solid people. Rocky Gardner. Rocky is again. Rocky and Ian McCarthy.
You skipped Alyssa.
I'm going to go. All right. Oh, okay. Rocky right after Alyssa, and I'm skipping ahead to Ian because they're like a match set.
They're Silver Billet.
Silver Billet. They're very active in the community. Again, creative, solid people. Dr. Greg Gillespie. We know who Greg is. Baramaze. Skeeter Green, formerly one of the owners of Frog God Games, now has Skeeter Green Publications or whatever he calls his damn company. Skeeter is a larger-than-life personality who, when he attempted to violate me after he violated Bad Mike at our first GaryCon, I had a choice of throwing him into a wall from my bed or pulling him in close in an embrace. So halfway through throwing him into the wall, I embraced him.
Really dark, buddy.
Well, if I didn't kill Skeeter outright, I would have been dead. So I was like, I'm probably not going to kill him, so I better just take the hit.
Give in to him.
Just hug it out and enjoy it for the queen, right? Do your duty for the queen and country.
Diesel LaForce. Diesel was an artist at TSR. He actually does a lot of 3D, like he actually will do like plaster sculptures and stuff like that. His stuff is really great. Bill Meinhardt. Bill Meinhardt owns the largest collection of RPG material. His home is essentially a museum. He lives outside of Chicago. Bill is amazing. Bill travels with two. Listen, if Rob had the largest collection of RPGs in the world, he's what Rob would be, because he travels with two binders that list everything he owns, and the condition and the grade and where it is.
Just in case he comes across something else, they could up it.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. Nice guy. And he's the one. If something comes up in auction and it has not been graded yet, Bill will go up and grade it on the spot.
I would have saved $50 at last SharkCon if I had that for all my Dragon magazines, because I was sitting there talking to Joe, and Joe Block, and I just casually, there's a crate with all dragons next to me. And I start just flipping through casually as I'm talking to Joe, and more I'm stopping talking to Joe, and I'm flipping. I see all these low double-digit dragons. I'm like, oh, these are good. They got below 100. I got to check it out. And then I just started grabbing them all, and Joe sees me. He's like, what are you doing? I said, these dragons, huh? He comes over, and I kind of hip checked him. Just get the fuck out of here. You know, like, out of here. Get the buy quick. Anything below 100, I was just grabbing them all because I didn't know what I had and what I didn't have. And to this day, I'm looking at them right now. There's a stack of 30 of them back there. They were selling for $3. They're selling for fucking list price on the magazine cover.
Oh wow!
I was shocked. So that's why I was getting everything under 30 because even if I have it, it's still worth more than what I just paid for it. You know?
Exactly.
So I'm like, shit. I'm looking at them right now. They're right under my Captain America shield. I'm gonna beat Rob's ass with. They're just sitting there on the floor. I gotta sort them through and see if I got dupes. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Lloyd Metcalf. Lloyd Metcalf has. He was a volunteer at the con, I think, from early on. He's an artist. He's a zine creator. Lloyd is very talented. Stefan, we already spoke about. James Rogge. His name speaks for himself. Merle Rasmussen, Top Secret, the RPG. Scott Robinson. Scott Robinson is a name that people might not initially realize who it is, but he was the co-creator of Bunnies and Burrows.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right.
James Shields. James is another artist. James did pretty much all the artwork in the first edition of White Star. James also donated his time and his art for this year's logo for the North Texas RPG Con. James travels down from Alaska. So,
Oh, is that where he's from? Alaska? I didn't realize that.
That's a hype.
He did your cover too, didn't he? For your Surgeon Wizard Continue to Light too.
He's just extremely talented and a really, really sweet guy. When they got James Bond to North Texas a number of years ago, James Shields is the one that organized the fundraiser.
I remember that. Yeah.
And that was just amazing. Ken Spencer by trade is an archaeologist. He is also somebody who has worked with pretty much all the major publishers in our field and does a lot of his own work. I've had
I want to talk to you about Atlantis and Graham Hancock. I'm all about that shit.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
He's been a good guest on our show a couple of times. Mike and Liz Stewart, Save for Half podcast, the old Save for Die podcast.
Okay.
They did Victorious, which is the CNC. God, what do you call it? Steampunk era.
Oh.
Okay, so it's a husband and wife team. They are the nicest people. Amanda Towsamir, I'm gonna have to, Bad Mike, if you're in the room, tell me because I don't recognize the name. Doesn't mean that they aren't important. I just don't know it. Tom Wilson, we know Tom Wilson, ShireCon.
ShireCon guy.
He's been donating his time for many a product that is to benefit the con. So like B2.5 and B3.5 and all this other stuff. Steve Winter, old school TSR guy, was involved in the original Planescape. Steve is just and he's still a creative. He's still working, pumping stuff out. Eddie Barlett and Matt Goulet, LongCon. LongCon is another convention that is an old school gaming con in the general area of North Texas. I think it's like 80 miles away when they run it. I haven't gotten to it yet. I've met these guys. They're big, huge gamers, and they've got a lot of energy. But for me to add another convention with that long a trip, I probably have to do one or the other. And their convention's a couple hundred people. I think like 250, 300. So yeah, I mean, that's a number of guests that
I heard is going. It's Joe Manganiello. I don't see his name there, but
his name is not on it because he is technically not there as a special guest.
Oh, no shit. He's just going there to play?
Yeah, Joe's pretty much told he told the con that he told Gary that, listen, don't think of me as somebody in Hollywood that plays D&D. Think of me as a gamer that happens to act.
Cool.
So
bringing his wife, because while he's D&D-ing,
I was going to say, get to the point, Joe. I know where you're going with this.
She's not the slouch at it. Jesus Christ. Vergara? Great, man.
See, like the idea with Joe going to is that Joe wanted to go because he wanted to have a good time.
Is this his first time there?
But Joe didn't want to, be like advertise the con as me as a special guest.
Yeah.
He just wants to. So, but the great thing about North Texas is that you can't help but bump into people and just start talking with people. And honestly, I mean, one of my favorite moments at North Texas is when I was talking with Mo Rasmussen just outside that main registration and gaming area. We had those so it's hallway with tables, vending tables on either side, and I'm talking with Merle. Frank Metzner is waiting to talk with me, so I'm talking with Mo Rasmussen. Frank is waiting to talk with me, and up from behind Frank walks James Bond. As Theory came, and James pulls his shirt up and flashes me man boobs. And Merle sees it, and Merle is the politest, nicest man. And I just see that he didn't say a word, but that smile got huge. And Frank never knew that there was a male boob flashing going on behind him. I'm laughing. I start fucking laughing. James does the dip. So he's gone. Second minute later, he's not even there. Frank's looking around. I'm just, oh, done. These are the little goofball things that can happen at North Texas. I expect a lot more than this year, on some extent, because it's going to be a really full con, but it's such a relaxed convention. If I have nothing to do, the hotel has lounge seating, or chairs, living room chairs set up in the hallway. I'll sit there. Oh, Rach is doing her 2-hour workout. I'll sit in the hallway with a drink and I'll flip through my book, my phone, go through Facebook or whatever, and just wait for people to sit down next to me and just talk with people, just coming by, or just see who's coming along. Who didn't I see yet? That's just I enjoy that. North Texas. I like to be seen so I can make sure I meet everybody. There are other conventions which isn't as easy to be out there. North Texas kind of forces it on you, and it's a lot of fun that way.
I like ShireCon. It's a small, laid-back con. What, get 80 people there, and but it's nice. It's chill, really chill area, nice little town, dead-end road. You can't beat it.
So yeah, North Texas is going to be. It's always a lot of fun. The only year I missed was 2020, the year of the virus.
Yeah.
So
you're going to. You didn't go this year to the one in Massachusetts, right? TotalCon. Did you go or no?
No, we went to TotalCon.
You went? Okay.
Yeah, no, I went to TotalCon. Actually, I got reached out to. Oh God, why can't I remember his first name? Angelia's husband reached out to me and he's like, "Are you going to the con?" And I'm like, I hadn't decided yet. It's one of those conventions I can decide at the last moment.
Yeah.
He's like, well, if you're gonna go to the con, if the answer is yes, he goes, I'll just put a badge in for you. I was like, oh, well, then that's. So I was kind of like a special guest without being a special.
Yeah. They hooked you up. Nice.
They hooked me up, gave me a free, badge, and actually, I technically I had access to a special guest room, which is where they have food and snacks and drinks. But I didn't go. I was like, I don't really feel like I was a special guest.
Yeah.
And then as we were wrapping up, I guess it was Saturday night, we're hanging out with Aunt Julia and her husband and talking, and he's like, so Rach, did you pay for your badge? She's like, no, Eric did. I did, obviously. He goes, no. Next year you're on us. I was like, oh, okay. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah,
good
deal.
It's a nice. It's about 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's a step up from North Texas in the number of people, but it doesn't feel crowded. It doesn't. Feel
right. Because the one I went to, the last time I was at, just before the bug hit, it was like a month or two before, where you were sick as shit. That's when you started to get real sick.
Well, that's actually where I got my upper respiratory infection.
Yeah,
which turned into pneumonia.
Yep.
And then the pneumonia set off the congestive heart failure.
Yep.
But you know what? As I look at it, TotalCon saved my life, because if it wasn't for the upper respiratory, getting the pneumonia and the sepsis and getting hospitalized, and then coming out of the hospital and actually kicking off congestive heart failure, as my one doctor put it, if you hadn't had those events take place a year or two down the line, you just would not have woken up one morning. I was like, oh. Yeah, I don't think that would have been a good solution. I think that I think
I like Plan B better.
yeah, I'll take the trifecta of hospitalizations in 2020, please. That's a much better option, and of course, changing your life around, eating healthier and trying to exercise and making better options. It's important. So
I was
hey,
at the gym a little late. I'm like, I want to get this set in. Never thought I would ever say that in my life. I'm like, when I was post surgery for the month I didn't go, I'm like, fuck what the hell's going on here?
The weight of all of your evil deeds is starting to wear on
Yeah.
you, Joe.
Now that's
And
gym
you
karma.
realize that there's going to be some consequences soon. So you're
Those-
trying
those
to
like-
get ahead of it.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
leprechauns are preying on your conscience, Joe.
That's it. No.
there you go.
I sleep well because of them.
I mean, we Rach and I with Gamers Health on Saturdays, we've been bringing. We're going to start bringing in special guests. We already brought in Don Samar to talk about his health issues, his heart issues. We're going to
I was
bring
on there
in.
once too.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should probably bring you back, Joe, because you've got.
Eric, that reminds me with
What?
the whole leprechaun thing.
What?
Didn't you have an encounter for us one time in an axe game where we found gnomes with pointy hats and they kept popping up out of the ground like whack-a-mole and we decided to chop them up? Am I remembering that correctly?
You know what?
Sounds right.
I don't remember. But now, please remember too that when I was running the axe stuff, I was usually 4, 5, 6 beers.
Oh God, yeah, I was double that, and plus the weed, and it was like midnight. So yeah,
Yes,
a lot of
our
blur.
games would run until like 2:30 in the morning, and then like James Raggy would reach out to us, and we'd be on to 7 a.m.
That happened once.
Those
4:30
games.
a.m. That was a 4:30 a.m. turn off on that one.
Yeah, when we ran those games, that was the reason why I installed a mini fridge next to my desk. Okay. Now I don't actually use that desk or that computer anymore. I use the one that's in our living room here. But that's why there was a mini fridge set up, so I could always have cold beers to break out during the game, so I wouldn't have to get up.
Smart.
So that. So
you also have a Gatorade bottle nearby.
No. We take a bio break, but
okay.
I still have to get up to get nice cold beer, and now remember too. When we were doing those games, I think, hey, for bonus experience points, blog or post or share about how the game session was and what happened. Why was that? Because I wasn't sober enough to fucking remember what was going on. I needed you all to give me the summary, so I went, oh, okay, now I can remember. Let me make some notes on this shit.
You were a fucking system jumper too, man. I remember you. I did before I understood how you jump systems every few weeks. You were all into Stars Without Number, and I was so broke back then. But I dropped $110 and bought a bunch of the books, and we played one fucking time. I'm like, motherfucker! I just spent $110. I'm like, my dog was hungry that week because of this fucking game, and we never played but one time.
Oh God!
Right now over there.
I own, and here's the thing: I own all of that stuff, all of his systems, all of his genre stuff, in print because it's amazing, and its resources. Oh my God!
I just bought Worlds Without Number. As a matter of fact, it just arrived today. The hardcover book.
It's huge.
It's amazing. I didn't know what, because you scarred me with Stars Without Number, so I'm ignoring everything this guy ever puts out, right? But then I see this Worlds Without Number. I saw the free PDF table of contents. Like, wow, this is fucking something. I think some of the YouTubers talking about it. I'm like, check the shit out. And it's like, it's really good for system of world building. I'm like, it's Rob. I don't know if you have it, man. It's excellent.
I do. I have the PDF.
Yeah, it's an excellent thing.
It's very good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to digging into that. I've been buying things, and I'm like, you know what? Now that I got a YouTube channel that I'm making a few bucks on, I could write every goddamn gaming book off that I ever buy. This is the greatest thing ever.
There you
How
go.
much are you really making, Joe?
I'm not making anything.
10 cents? What is this?
Let's just say, before Bob Bledsaw the second decided to
do what he did.
I was clearing $300 a month.
I don't think. I mean, when I started making money in December, if I have it all set to cash out once a year, and I had it like a couple days before North Texas, so it's like my beer money. If I get $200-300 for 5 months, I'll be shocked. I don't think I'm going to make that much. So it's just YouTube. But like I said, I can write off every gaming book. I'm going to operate at a loss, which is fantastic. This entire YouTube thing for me is a tax write-off.
But are you an LLC, Joe?
No, I am not. It's just going to be.
So you're just bullshitting us all. I see.
Well, itemization.
He's
I've got to talk to H&R Block lady.
There's that lawyer coming out.
I got to talk to H&R Block lady. See what the hell the Russian chick would help me out last year.
I file a Schedule C as
That's what I
sole
figured.
sole proprietorship.
Yeah. I got to look through it. I got to say receipt.
If the IRS comes after me, I have everything documented. So.
Well, I'm just going to talk about everything I buy, and that way it justifies it, right?
There
Like going to the liquid lunches back in the day and say, "How's business? Good. Now we can write this off." Right, man? I'm just going to mention everything I buy. Right now, I just justify worlds without number. Boom, done. One thing. Okay.
Oh, wait, but it's not your stream.
Huh?
It's not your stream. You got to mention it on your stream.
Yeah,
So
I'll go down a list. I'll rattle them all off.
There you go.
31st. Everything I bought this year. Boom, 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 boom. There, right on.
Oh God.
On that note, I have to fraud the IRS.
Well, we're hitting the 2-hour mark. This is the third live stream I've done in 3 days. Holy
I
crap!
didn't see the Luke one. How'd that go? Okay, getting good dirt, man.
What?
I haven't watched the Luke one either.
Yeah, I haven't either.
The Luke one went very well. Basically, we were expecting a question to be asked about how the Will lawsuit went since it was concluded. The trial concluded, I guess, on last Friday, and Luke had a very lawyerly statement to make when a question popped up, and it never popped up.
Surprised. I figured that'd be the main first question. If I was there, I would have asked the damn thing.
Why didn't you ask the question?
Yeah, really. That's
we had enough stuff going on. And listen, it went so well that it's already like we were already going. We got to continue this again, because it was such a relaxed. I won't say interview, such a relaxed hangout with a guest. It was really nice. But I always have the tab up for that court case on my browser, and I saw that one of the things that came out is there's basically 3 parties to this case. There is the children, led by Luke. There's Gail, led by Gail, and then there's the estate. The estate has its own lawyer, appointed by the court.
He's trying to drain it of all resources to pay himself, probably.
Well, what happened is at the end of the trial, and by the way, just Luke was sharing like videos like last week of Ding Dong, The Witch is Dead. Great song from Wizard of the Oz. So read into that as you will.
Yeah.
If that's the videos that you're sharing, I assume things went well. But the ruling, one of the orders from the court was that Gail Gygax has to cease and desist selling any and all assets of the estate, and the estate manager, I guess, in fact, it's actually the lawyer, I think it was Gorn, who was now put in charge of the estate, has the authority to do inventory and to sell what is necessary to complete the inventory. In other words, if you need to raise funds, you can sell some of the items in order to inventory the rest. So to me, I am not a lawyer, and for someone who knew that the answer that was going to be given was not going to be an answer that would probably have sufficed for many, I would work on the assumption that things went more in the direction of the kids than it did in the direction of Gail. That would be my take on it.
Worry about when I heard a lot of horror stories, and I don't nothing against this dude. I have no idea who it is, but I've heard a lot of horror stories about state manager types who have to wrap it up and pay themselves by selling stuff and overselling, overpaying, just trying to make the money, and they don't care about preserving the state.
Right. No, I've heard those horror stories too. So, but remember, it's not just physical property; it's also intellectual property that's involved in this. And I don't think any intellectual property is going to be sold off because that's hard. It's hard. And so, again, we
They don't own like the rights to D&D or anything.
No,
what are you
but
talking about intellectual property.
There's a lot of intellectual property that's still connected to Gary, including
Castle Greyhawk. I mean,
well, Castle Zagging. There's
Oh, that's
unpublished
Fellini.
work involved in that. There's Gary's fiction. Remember, I believe it was Tom DeSanto, one of the producers of Transformers, was in negotiations with Gale a number of years ago to license Gary's intellectual property for an on-demand series for either Netflix or Amazon. And that's when this will cropped up. And that's when Tom was like, if we can't ascertain who controls the assets, the IP, then we're not going to make a deal. So now that is potentially going to be resolved, the potential of us seeing IP from Gary come out is certainly there. So hopefully we know more when we know more.
Whatever the hell it is, even if it Gord the Rogue, it would be 1,000 times better than that fucking Amazon disaster of Lord of the Rings.
Oh God!
On that note, let's head out before Rob gets a retort. Talk to y'all later, guys.
No. Hold on.
Water under the bridge, Joe. Water under the bridge.
I do say we do have to log out because I got one more live stream to do, and that's tomorrow. And I need to rest. I need to get my beauty rest.
Yes.
All right.
And a fucking haircut at some point.
Must going to sleep for a long time, huh, Eric?
Yeah, I am. Shut up.
Hey, Tim,
Shut up, man. Shut up.
he's doing the Coach Stahl look. Remember him from football?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, if I cut my hair, it's like Samson, man. You know what's going to happen.
You're going to be able to cover that bald spot soon, Eric.
Oh, shit.
Another shot. Hey, wait a second. I've
Hot meat kettle.
Hey, when I was going to go, I went all the way and just shaved the hair off.
Oh, I hate having to look at myself on the screen because I can't figure out.
Oh, I just thought of so if Rob loses to Joe, he has to shave his
There will
beard.
never, ever.
So he's one smooth
head
Rob, all the way around. Yeah.
I'm not
They're
going to
gonna
do
have
that.
Mr. Clean. No?
Yeah.
He'll just look like the rest of us.
Yeah. There's no penalty on me.
I'm pretty sure everyone on this podcast, even those two not pictured, has a stubble beard of at least a couple centimeters deep all around.
Well, I mentioned that to Luke.
And that's
yesterday.
because we don't have to go into an office.
Well, again, I mentioned it to Luke yesterday. I go, Luke, I like the beard. He goes, I go, that's the great thing about retirement, right? Is that you no longer have to be clean shaven. My job required like a mustache that couldn't go below the lip, couldn't extend beyond the lips, no beard. And the first thing I did when I retired was like, I'm gonna grow in a beard and grow my hair long and tie it back. And then the tying back my hair never happened because my hair doesn't grow like that.
I got like a long ass ponytail, but it was a similar thing. I'm like, I work for the government. Can't fire me for growing my hair long, so fuck them. I'm growing my hair long. I've always wanted to have it long, and here it is. Damn it,
I had to keep my hair above the collar. So it's like I won't wear a collar. I'll wear a collarless shirt to work. There.
Put a collar around your waist. Good to go.
Yeah. All right.
Horrifying visual.
Yeah.
Right.
Folks, thank you very much. And for everybody in the live stream, it was a lively live stream. And I kept up to the comments. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Use your common sense, folks.
Yeah, I haven't spoken about the vid in a while. Come on. I no longer say use your common sense.
That's all I hear in my head when
I know.
think about
I
it.
just say be safe well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. I'll be back tomorrow with another live stream at 8 p.m. Oh, my God. Help me. All right, folks.
The forehead.
There you go.
God bless. I'll catch you
Bye,
later.
guys.
Keep your comments.
Bye.
Oops. Come on, end. Why
We're
won't
still
you end?
here.